Greetings. Today we stray away from the realm of real-life politics a bit. I'm the political ferret, and for today we're talking about the political implications of the simulation hypothesis. So I will use for that a lot of pop culture references because all the other creators did the stuff with the mass already. So for those who don't know what we are talking about, it's the idea that we are all living inside of a simulation. And yeah, like in the Matrix. And there are a lot of great videos about this out there, but they're very lengthy and very scientific, or both. And this is just a brief overview. So if you're interested in going deep in this stuff, I posted some links in the description. So the idea is nothing new, but the honor of doing the basic mathematics there goes to Nick Bostrom, University of Oxford. So to make this as brief as I could do it, the argument goes more or less like this. A. Civilizations extinct before they can make such simulations, like in Mad Max for example. Or B. Civilizations don't extinct, but they don't do these simulations, like in Battlestar Galactica, where they limit computer power quite heavily. Or finally C. Civilizations are able to do these simulations, and they do it, like in Matrix or Total Recall. So if A and B are not correct, C must be correct. And if C is correct, you would then assume that there are a lot of simulations out there, and the chances that you are one of the real-life persons who live through the real world is quite little. And it's way higher that you are one of the simulated guys. But this is statistics, and we won't go into detail in this. So, can we do a simulation of the human brain? Well, not yet. But that's just a question of time. But if we do it finally, it will be pretty slow. I mean, the brain is a very highly complex digital machine, but basically we understand how it works. And our computer capacity is rising and will not stop. And there comes the point when we will be able to simulate a brain in real time. And the next day, and that's the interesting thing, the artificial brain could work faster than our brain. So if you go to this point where the computing power is 1,000 times faster than our brain, you can do a simulation of, say, 1,000 years in just 1 year for at least one brain. But you see where I'm going with that. Okay, but why? Why should we do that? What's the motivation behind this? Well, we could explore history or alternative history. We could figure out how our civilization would have evolved if we have had 4 arms. The scientific applications are more or less endless. But there are others. And first and foremost, it's entertainment. Imagine a time where this technology is as common and as easy to use as now a television set. You strap yourself into it with, say, your loved one in the evening and enter the machine to live an easy life in peaceful times, harvesting the crops and all this stuff. And you start, say, in your 20s, your real-life memories are suppressed for this matter, and artificials are simulated. You live your life, die happily, and wake up 2 hours in real time later in your living room and talk with a loved one about how nice was this simulation. The thing is, you can't figure out if you did this. Perhaps you entered the simulation right now and all your memories before that are fake. You can't know, just can't know. So, perhaps all the people around you are simulations, or just NPCs in something like a big role-play game. So, well, do we things like that? Yeah, games like, say, The Sims made fine simulation of human behavior. I mean, are these little Sims self-aware? No, of course not. At least not by our standards. But what if we are not self-aware by the standards of something that is to us as we are to the Sims? Other games did an even better job by simulating life. Creatures from 1996 created artificial life that reacted to stimuli and showed behavior that was absolutely quite remarkable for this time. And these neurons could learn, but they couldn't think. So, by the way, at the peak of this game, we had 5 million neurons on our planet. Since that, our computing power has increased for about 2,000 times or something like that. And this trend goes on, and it's ever growing. So, as long as we don't nuke ourselves away, it's not a question if we could reach a technology that we need to make this happen. The question is just when. So okay, but this was all on the individual level. Do we simulate history? Do we simulate the rise and fall of civilizations? Yeah. Check out the mobile game Gallimulator. It simulates exactly that, and it does a quite remarkable job for such a little program. And why do we do that? Well, because it's fun. So you might ask, there will be then a time where we can do a simulation of more or less sentient human beings on our mobile phones. Well, perhaps not, because there are physical limits as well, and it takes quite some energy to do that. But for details, check out the links in the description. But hey, however, a world where you can do this kind of simulations will very likely come with something else. With computers that can solve problems we can't solve in just a blink of an eye. For those artificial intelligent programs, I guess we wouldn't look like animals, we would look like merely stone. If they implement for evolutionary reasons a thing like death, it is very thinkable that the lifespan of such an intelligent program is somewhere within seconds. And yeah, I'm very biased and pro-computer. I don't think those intelligent machines will try to wipe us out. It is more likely that they will migrate to colder regions of space, because there you can increase your calculation power even further, and that's best for machines. And the best way to do this is to build a space elevator, get out from Earth, get out to the outer rim and stay there. Well, and then just leave us with something that is, from their perspective, non-conscious, but still an AI that is able to solve more or less all our problems. And then we have a space elevator and the doors to the stars are open and the machines say basically, okay, thanks for making us and have fun living. At this point, I guess the motivation for improving technology out of our own brains drops more or less to zero. Because then we have everything that the AI gave us, and this AI could solve problems we couldn't. So I guess we will hold on this level of technology, and this is the technology these intelligent machines gave us. And this actually means that we can't be a threat to them. And take this with a ton of salt. It's just my idea, and with almost completely certainty, I'm absolutely wrong with that. But I don't see a conflict between us and programs, because I also don't see a lot of conflict between us and stones. But perhaps they killed all the humans a long time ago and preserved only the patterns, the mind patterns, and we are the digital descendants of these humans, and we are all living in a shoebox-sized computer because the computer and machines thought this is a more space efficiency way to preserve humankind, and this won't violate Asimov's law all too much. Who knows, everything is possible. However, I think that the simulation of the human brain is one of the less exotic things out there. So I guess this is a technology we will achieve. Or if we have this scenario with the computers will leave us this technology. So if this thing is right, what does it mean? Well, it could mean that you are in simulation and everybody around you is a simulation too. But you could also be a human and all others around you are simulations, like NPCs in a roleplay game. Or, more or less, all of us are real and we are in a simulated reality. Or the reality is real, but that's the boring thing. Okay, but this is a political show where we talk about things that sounds very much like science fiction. Well, it has implications. The first time I had some ideas about this was back in the 90s. I saw the Sentence, Outer Limits episode from that time, and in this episode they used a virtual jail. Essentially, they put criminals in the chair, put them through virtual hell for a lifetime, and after 1 hour they came out and learned that they have now a second chance for living an honest life. Of course, something went wrong and yada yada yada. Watch the episode, it's absolutely worth your time. And the first thing that popped in my mind then was, hey, why not use this for education? Because first I was thinking how cool it would be to have the knowledge of a 60-year-old as a teenager. But since then this episode popped once in a while into my head and I was thinking about it. So one colleague of mine has this meme on his wall: youth would be a great time if it would come later in life, and I guess he's absolutely right. And this would be my favorite application for this technology. Let's say when you turn 14, you sit into the chair, simulate a lifetime, get out 2 hours later, and you have lived a life. I mean, how much would you do then differently? How much more of your potential could you harvest? How much suffering could you stop by not making all the mistakes you did when you were young? So, if this would be the case, if we are within such an simulation, this would be a very strong argument for being alone surrounded by simulations. Because hurting a simulation by making stupid, childish mistakes, that's not a tragedy. So, for those of you who are looking for distortions in the matrix, calm down. It's quite likely that we are all real. An experiment done in 2012 would at least strongly suggest that. But there are implications. How far can we, say, improve the Sims until mistreating them, even though they are just simulations, on your computer, go on par with animal cruelty? And is there such a point? Can you be cruel to a machine? What about hurting people within a simulation? And we come to these questions, and hell, some of them are already there, and we don't have real answers. So, the important thing in this regards, does it matter if we are real or simulations? Does it matter? And I would say, no, absolutely not. Even if you are alone, and we are all Sims, we are all NPCs, whatever. In this case, the world would revolve around you, and you alone. It's about making a great experience, it's about making a great life, it's about improvement, it's about making experiences, it's about becoming a better person. Even if you're a simulation, you feel pain, physical and emotionally, and you feel joy, emotionally and physical. And it feels good to improve. Improve yourself, improve the world around you, help others to improve. Because it's a great day when you close your eyes and know that you have added something good in this world. And it leaves a bitter taste if you know that you fucked up and because of you the world is now a bit more screwed up than it was before. Don't waste your time with questions about what is real and what is right and so on. Don't think about it. Don't think about what comes when you close your eyes for the last time. It makes no sense. Add good to the world. Do something, not for others, but because it's a great feeling doing something that is valued by others. And this concludes your tutorial for this simulation today. You're in minute 15, that's 4 seconds in real life time. You have 32 years to go. Have fun with your life.